station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. What a great morning we've had so far, huh, Robin?
Oh, yeah. It's incredible.
Great
Good
guests.
morning.
We have another one, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. And there's a real sad part about this next story, but there's an element of hope. It's kind of like the Spoonful of Sugar song. There's an element of hope in a sad story. I remember when I was a kid, I would look. Like when something would, go wrong, who knows what kind of things went wrong when you were a kid, and you always say, well, when I wake up tomorrow, it'll be over, Mm-hmm. And then when you get older and people pass away, you're just like, wow, tomorrow that person's still going to be passed away. You can't just take a nap and wake up and it'll be better. It doesn't work out that way. And we had a guest in here who attended the same high school I did. I didn't know her in high school, but she had this horrible story about her son. She said he was murdered. I guess officially it was suicide. Either way, I mean, how do you wake up the next day and get over any of that? Donna Mebane had to go through that. She is on the phone right now. Her book is called Tomorrow Comes. It is an Emma story, and Emma is the name of the daughter that she lost, and I'm going to have her tell you the story. It also says here that Donna is, heads up the talent consulting and engagement arm for a major global financial institution. What kind of talent do they need?
You have to know how to invest money.
She's the daughter of a U.S. Navy commander as well. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Tomorrow Comes, reality fiction that captures the grief that Donna's family and friends endured after her daughter and youngest child named Emma died. And at the same time, here's the positive part of this, or the uplifting part. At the same time, it creates an enchanting fictional world of after where Emma can continue to be herself. Good morning, Donna. How are you?
I'm great, Larry and Robin. It's wonderful to join you virtually. I kind of wish I could be there in reality. We're sitting on 17 inches of snow up here.
Oh, really? The grass is always greener. The snow is always whiter. I want to see snow. Where are you?
I'm in Chicago.
Chicago. You got a big hit? I didn't realize Chicago was getting hit with a big snowfall. Wow.
Yeah, we're not as bad as Boston, but we also don't have a Super Bowl parade to hold in Toronto.
That's right.
So I got to find the online webcam for Chicago and check it out, because I live vicariously through these webcams.
Yeah. Vicariously through them, too, but I live in Florida with you.
Oh, you do live here? Oh, you live here?
No. I'm saying through webcam.
Oh, I see.
That's
I see.
right.
Go to the Miami one. It looks really nice. Yeah.
Way to rub it in, Larry. Way to rub it in.
Well, thank you for being on. And gosh, how long ago did Emma die?
She died in July of 2011, so it still feels fairly fresh.
Yeah.
Although I would say after 3.5 years, there are some signs, more signs of hope and joy every day. So you do get through it. I think you described very aptly the challenge that you have when you lose someone you love is that it doesn't. You don't wake up tomorrow and say, oh, that was just a dream, thank goodness. You really have to face immediately.
What happened to her?
Be forever changed. She died in her sleep. She actually died from something that is called SADS.
Goodness.
Which is similar to SIDS in that, the sudden infant death syndrome. This is either sudden adult death syndrome or sometimes people call it sudden arrhythmic death.
And how old was Emma?
She was 19.
19? And she just went to bed one night and didn't wake up, huh?
Yeah, we had. I was in London at the time, and we had Skyped the night before. She was with my son, and I was with my other daughter, and she was laughing and absolutely herself. The only thing that I think could have possibly caused a little bit of caution was one of her best friends stopped by and wanted her to go to a party, and she said she was too tired, and she never said she was too tired for a party. So, but in retrospect, we look.
How would you know? How would you know
exactly.
that?
We look for signs in retrospect. So, so she didn't show up for work. She worked with my son over the summer at a little local coffee shop. She was home for the summer from her first year of college.
Wow.
And when she didn't arrive, he called my husband, and he headed home, and there she was. So
How did that change all of your lives?
Well, dramatically. I think one of the things that initially we thought, and it's probably one of the tips I would have for balancing mourning and living, one of the things I initially thought was that, I will never, ever be the same, and that's absolutely true. I kept saying when my husband called me to say that she had died, how can family still be a family? How can we survive something like this? We're not a family without Emma. I didn't feel like I was a mother anymore, even though I had 3 children. I mean, but what I've come to learn is that there are still parts of you in there somewhere, and the quicker you can connect back to them, the better off you're going to be in the long run. It was very important for us to experience laughter as quickly as we could. It was, very important for us to do something as a family to sort of prove to ourselves that we were still a family. But it was devastating. The suddenness of it was, of course, sort of an added burden. Although I've talked with many people who have lost a child through some sort of illness, or, as you were just talking about, potentially murder or suicide.
Yeah.
And I think if I had to pick, if I couldn't stop her from dying and I had to pick a way that she died, I think asleep in your own bed with your cat next to you and, your pictures of friends all around you would be the way that I would pick. But it doesn't certainly make it any less.
It's a hard thing to be able to say, but I think I couldn't help but agree with that. So the writer in you, from what I understood in the prep material, didn't surface or didn't wake up until after Emma died. Is that right?
Yeah, so I've always been sort of the family scribe with, writing eulogies and congratulation speeches when somebody hits a major anniversary and all of that. I've always loved to write. I'm an English major. But I didn't really feel that I had enough to say to write a book. And then when Emma died, fairly shortly afterwards, friends were encouraging me to write, and I started to jot down notes, but they were quite dark and not particularly something that I think anybody would get anything from. So I decided about 3 months after she died that I wanted to write a book about her. I think one of the first questions that you have is, what happened? Where did you go? You were just eating pizza with the family last night. Where are you? And I think even people with a very strong faith need more details when it's someone they love.
So are those the thoughts that led to the book?
Yes. Very much so, yep. That was probably the impetus for it. I just needed to figure out, I did not have a strong faith to fall back on. I didn't have a strong vision of what an afterlife might look like, and I wanted to create one that I could understand and that I thought she could understand. So I created one for her that looks an awful lot like the Geneva, Illinois that she lived in for 19 years.
Wow. Have you had dreams? This is kind of a real personal question, and forgive me if it's too personal.
No,
but have you had dreams, especially, have the book and your dreams sometimes collided?
Yes. So I was very frustrated initially, among other feelings, that she did not come to me right away in a dream. I certainly saw, or my family felt that they saw lots of signs. And in fact, there's a chapter of the book where one of the first things we do, and believe me, we are not this kind of family, but one of the first things we did was we went and got tattoos, which made us think of her. She was a tattoo person. She was and she had gotten a little star on her wrist, and so we all got little stars on our wrist. And during the time that we were getting the tattoos, a song came on that no one had ever heard of. No one had ever, the people who were giving the tattoos were playing, rock music and all kinds of AC/DC and all of that. And then this gentle, lovely song came on about losing a child.
Wow.
So there were definitely signs. But in terms of a dream, I had one dream right away, and that was that I had to tell her that she had died, and that was horrible. I mean, it was just a terrible dream. She didn't really understand what was going on. This was before I started to write the book, and one of the reasons I did write the book. But I have finally had a good dream, and that was probably about 6 months ago, and I dreamed that she and I'm sure this is partly my subconscious working, but she and I were helping people physically, getting people out of burning cars and saving people from drowning. And,
oh, wow.
And we were laughing and talking, and I remember I said to her, I could live like this. If we could do this every night, I could be fine. That was the first and last good dream I've had, but others have had dreams.
Wow.
Do you think that because of that good dream that's what she's doing, she's helping the people on Earth, like survive tragedies like that, or help make their lives better?
Well, I think if you play this out the way I hope it plays out, I think that it has something to do with the book, because we have had a lot of people who have said there's nothing that they read or did that made them feel better until they read this book. And in large part, it's because it's not terribly religious. I don't push on them that this is what's going to happen. I simply create a world for my daughter, and they then are able to do that. They then are able to picture their loved ones with more detail. Again, I think even people who believe in heaven, you lose somebody really close to you, like a sister or your mom or something like that, and it's just not enough. You have to fill in the...
Absolutely. If you've ever lost anybody you love, you know exactly what you're talking about. Donna, we need to take a little break, but we'll be right back. I think we've set up a good foundation, and maybe after, on the other side of the break, we can talk about some of the things that you think the book is actually doing for other people, because that sounded interesting to me. So we'll take that little break and be right back.
Okay, thanks.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be mostly cloudy today with a few showers crossing the area. Highs anywhere from the mid-60s in the northernmost part of the zone to 74 in the southernmost part. Cloudy tonight with periods of rain and a thunderstorm. Lows ranging from 52 in the northernmost part of the zone to 62 along the coast. Tomorrow becoming windy and cooler with rain in the morning. Then clouds will break for some sun in the afternoon. Highs in the mid to upper 60s. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
On this episode of What Not to Do, brought to you by
Mike's Got Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
The fire department? Why is the fire department coming up our driveway?
Don't look at me. He's your cousin.
Haha, Mr. Funny Man. What did you do now?
Well, we were attempting to repair the water heater, but somebody forgot to turn off the breaker.
Well, why is there water everywhere?
Apparently, the main water shutoff didn't exactly get shut off.
Okay, at what point did you realize you're not a plumber and you need to call Mike's Got Plumbing?
Right about the time we had the flood and the fire all at the same time.
And when should you have called the professionals at Mike's Got Plumbing? That's what I thought. Does water run through it? Then they do it, not you. And don't give me the weekend excuse. You know they don't charge extra for nights, weekends, or holidays. Do you need the number?
No, I got it. 237-2888.
Again.
237-2888.
Why'd you call Cousin Sean anyway? You know he can't even fix his own lunch.
On next week's episode of What Not to Do.
Oh, come on, a monster truck?
What you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
If you woke up feeling bloated, load up on water-rich fruits and veggies. Reminiscing about your first encounter, talking about it, creates the same changes in brain chemistry in both of you, which means it'll feel like you're falling in love all over again. If you experience breakouts and you normally drink fat-free milk, consider switching to 1% milk or dairy alternatives that contain fewer than 10 grams of sugar per serving.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
One of the most common questions those nearing retirement are asking, will I outlive my money? Retirement questions like these and many more will be answered every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with hosts Francois and Julian Pozenet. Francois and Julian will help you put your retirement puzzle together. Catch Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Ocala's News Talk, The Source 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
All right, thank you. 19 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Donna Mebane is on the phone. Her book is called Tomorrow Comes. It's an Emma story. That's what it says in my notes. Emma is the daughter she lost at the age of 19 when she went to sleep and didn't wake up. Simple as that, but tragic as that as well. Donna also heads up the talent consulting and engagement arm for a major global financial institution. We haven't even asked her about that yet, which I suppose is not even an important part of this conversation, but it's in the notes. Donna, what does that mean? What is the talent in an engagement at a financial institution?
Well, several companies are recognizing that the more engaged, more committed, more excited, more feelings of value that their partners have, that their employees have, the better they'll serve the clients. And so there's been a move to really focus on engaging your internal people in a way like never before, so that you can get that competitive edge in some ways with your clients. Sort of and there are studies that show that the higher the engagement level internally, the better satisfied your clients are. So that's part of it. The other part of it is really consulting around. This is boring, I think, but
oh
no, it's not boring.
No,
it's not boring.
all.
But I have a question actually that connects to the main thing we're talking about. So.
Potential and things like that. So it's talent planning.
So let's see. In the course of doing radio, we've had losses. We've had people we worked with who died. We've had people who were in our families who died. And when you do a radio show, you kind of take the approach of the show must go on, and you try to avoid mentioning it or bringing it up. In my personal case, I typically don't mention it the day I find out. It'll be like 2 weeks later I'll mention it on the air, and I'm not over it. But I guess my reason for saying because this is what we do for a living. This is our job. Did your job give you some kind of was it therapeutic in a way that you had a job? I mean, that's kind of see, to me it's not really, but it is. It is, but it isn't.
Yeah, I think very much so. I think you have to do something, even if you're on autopilot. I took several weeks off, and my work was very kind about the situation. I had been in London on a work assignment when I received the call that Emma had died, and actually I went back to London to complete my work assignment, and that was very helpful to me and to my family. I think one of the things that we experienced right away is that we all grieved very differently. I considered it to be a good day if I got up and brushed my teeth. And my husband just got busy, like the Energizer Bunny. He was organizing all of Emma's computer files, and both of us, I think, felt like how can you do this? How can you behave the way you're behaving? And I think as we came to realize that everybody grieves differently,
right.
It was very helpful for me to be gone during the period when we were trying to sort that out. I needed.
Donna, you said something interesting. I think it was off the air. I'm not really sure about how other people who have read the book have said that it gives them something that nothing else has since their loss. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if in the book, because the book hasn't been sent to us, I don't think it's here, right, Robin?
Right, it's en route.
So, I'm happy to send you one.
No, I'm not hinting. I'm just, sometimes we have books, sometimes we don't. And if I neglected to see yours, then I would have apologized. But I wanted to ask you if in the book you were exploring, I mean, it's not a religious book, you said, but are you exploring what might be the reality that we just don't have a real grasp on? Are you exploring what she's doing in heaven or on the other side, or are you exploring the question, I think, when somebody dies in their sleep is, why were they born only to live 19 years? I mean, was their life on Earth actually, was their mission actually fulfilled? It's kind of one of those questions I would wonder. Did we lose you?
Oh.
Are you there, Donna?
I am.
Okay. Oops, we don't hear you now. If you can hear us, we're not hearing you, Donna. Let me just reintroduce Donna. Mebane is on the. Her last name, by the way, is spelled Mebane, but I do have a pronunciation here, so I know to pronounce it Mebane. Donna?
Yes.
Okay, now you're back. Okay, there you go. I don't know what happened there.
I would say there's sort of two levels of answer your question. Well, I've written a second book called Tomorrow Matters, and it's in final editing now. And the third book I've started on, and the final book, which is called Tomorrow Blooms. And the structure of the book is that it goes back and forth between one member of our family, still here in what I call before, and Emma. So Emma is half the book, and the other half is my son, my husband, me, my daughter, my other daughter. And so the things that happen to us really happen. The things that happen to her are things that I hope are happening to her. And so she is on a journey. My hope is that she will be one of the things my husband said at her funeral is that she has become. There is no more becoming. She is who she is. She has stopped becoming. And I didn't like that. I wanted her to continue becoming. I wanted her to, all the good qualities that she had, to become better and better until they were actualized, if you will, into something that really could have some kind of impact, either here on Earth or there, wherever she is, if she is somewhere. So I think this is a spiritual journey for me. In the first book, she thinks maybe she should look for God, but she doesn't find him. In the second book, she's exposed to some very wise people, one of whom could be God. And the third book, I haven't quite decided yet, but I believe that she will become all that I would have hoped that she would have become here, and that she will have an impact.
Did you feel at any point that your family relationship with your husband and your children, that all of you were starting to grow apart at one point?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it was, for me, and again, I think everybody agrees differently, but for me, it was really good for me to be gone for a little while. I was only gone for I went to London for another 6 weeks or so, because that gave me the strength to come back and be a mom and to be a wife. I couldn't be those things. I couldn't help anybody. I needed to really get the strength to help myself. So we definitely had some struggles with maintaining family relationships. But I would say, and it sounds like a cliche, that we have come out of this a different family, but still a good family.
Wow. Donna, do you have a website or other information on how you get the book? Is that on Amazon?
It's on Amazon. It's on all the major, Barnes & Noble and all of that. Our website, thank you for asking, is Starshine Galaxy. So it's obviously just one word, StarshineGalaxy.com. And then within the website, I have a blog called Wisps, hard to say, of Hope. So that's where I post the various things that I've been thinking and, things that people have said to me. You had asked previously about how the book might have helped others, I think, in two ways. If you've actually lost a child, I think you can relate to the book. But I think if you've lost anybody, or even if you haven't lost somebody, I think most people believe that the worst possible thing that can happen is losing a child.
Yeah.
And so I think the fact that I'm still okay in some ways is just a statement that helps others.
I went to the website, and there's a link on there, Meet Emma, and so I'm seeing some pictures of Emma when she was a little girl. Gosh.
Do you think that this book also helped Emma's friends?
Oh, yeah. For sure. In fact, we're working on a number of projects. One of her friends has written a book of poetry that we're going to publish onto the site. I'm working on a sad Christmas song with one of her friends who actually sang at her funeral. That we're going to work on create together. So we have gotten even closer than we were when Emma was alive, because when Emma was alive, I had to be the mom. I had to be downstairs saying, I hope you're not trying to steer in through the
Right.
But now,
the singer Carly Simon, when her mother died, I was reading an interview, and she said to her mother, and I think she put it in a song, if I remember right, that we're not the same relationship now. We're the same. We're friends. We're not mother-daughter anymore. So
yeah, and I think there is an aspect of that with how I'm feeling about Emma.
It's the one thing that it's hard to be with our children is because all of their lives, you are their mom or dad,
yes,
and they are your child, and it's there's never a time, at least not in my experience yet. And my son is 28, going on 29. Your children are 30 something.
Yes.
So there's not been a time when they're like friends. They're friends, but they're still your child. It's kind of weird, and you always wish that would happen, eventually. So
yeah. Well, it definitely changes the relationship, but the important thing is to try to figure out what that relationship still is. My husband talks about how do you parent a dead child, and you do have to continue to parent them. You do have to continue to protect their their reputation. Oh, I guess that means we're out of time.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't have had that so loud, but that's what it means. Yeah. Donna, thank you for being on the show with us today. Good luck with everything you do. We were spellbound with your story, and I can see the real hope of your story. So of Emma's story. Donna, thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
StarshineGalaxy.com. The book again is called Tomorrow Comes. It's on Amazon, and go get it on the website and get to meet Emma. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.
News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. There are anti-ISIS protests in Jordan over the killing of its pilot by the militant group, Amman retaliating by executing 2 prisoners.
Inside the country, there's a lot of concern about getting drawn into a larger regional war. That doesn't only apply for Jordan, but for a lot of other countries. Already, the UAE, one of the most hyped members of this international coalition, they have already stopped for about a month now all flights over Iraq and Syria targeting ISIS.
Fox's Connor Powell. On Capitol Hill, the president's defense secretary nominee asked about his policy with regard to the terror group.
Ends with respect to ISIL needs to be its lasting defeat.
Ashton Carter at his Senate confirmation hearing. NTSB investigators will probe the deadly crash of a commuter train into an SUV during rush hour yesterday just north of New York City. The driver of the vehicle died along with 5 others. Fox News. We report, you decide.
The last time your battery gave out, you were stuck on the side of the road showing the kids new and interesting ways to expand their vocabulary. So before that happens again, come into Napa and pick up a qualifying Napa battery and get a $10 prepaid Visa card by mail. $10 buys a lot of soap. And with the way your kids are talking now, you'll need it. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 2/28/15.
Superstorms, road closures, flooding, airports snowed in. If you travel for work like I do, news like that can ruin your whole day. It did mine, until I discovered Citrix GoToMeeting online meeting software. With GoToMeeting, you can meet from anywhere using your computer, tablet, or smartphone. No expensive travel required. And with HD video, you simply turn on your webcam and it's just like being in the same room, which means you can stay productive no matter what the news brings.
Visit GoToMeeting.com and download our free 30-day trial.
Hey, it's Christy with Ocala Mac and PC Repair and Ocala Guest Wi-Fi to let you know we have you covered. We are the only local certified Apple and Microsoft computer company in Ocala. We are family owned and operated. From mobile repair to wireless networks, viruses, new systems, or security cameras, we do it all. Check us out online, ocalamacpc.com, or give us a call, 352-566-8324.
Tell them Nick, Madison, or Mason sent you and get free diagnostic.
Get your internet telephone service from the company that brought affordable internet service to Ocala in the first place. All Is Safe is a sister company of Ocala Guest Wi-Fi, a company you've known and trusted for all your internet needs. Whether you need a phone or hundreds, we've got the products and services to meet your needs both now and in the future. Our plans include everything from local and long-distance calling to equipment maintenance and even software upgrades. You can count on All Is Safe to give you cost certainty knowing that your bill will be the same next week, next month, or even next year. Call 352-450-8647 today to learn how to cut your monthly telephone bill up to 60%.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Here are today's headlines from The Source. WOCA Ocala Fire Rescue reported that 3 fire engines, 2 battalion chiefs, and additional emergency vehicles from Ocala Fire Rescue responded yesterday to a structure fire reported at 2509 Northeast 19th Court. The 911 call was received by dispatchers at 1:19 p.m. Firefighters and witnesses reported seeing a smoke column clearly visible from blocks away. At the residence, firefighters encountered a fully involved house fire upon arrival. Although firefighters managed to salvage the infrastructure of the home, the fire encompassed the majority of its interior, deeming the living quarters uninhabitable. At the time the fire initiated, the home was occupied by an elderly woman and her dog. Both were able to exit the home unharmed. Her husband arrived a short time later. The fire appears to have originated in the living room. The incident is under investigation. The Star Banner is reporting that the Ocala City Council yesterday voted 4-0 to grant the Ocala Symphony Orchestra $300,000 toward the renovation of the Old City Auditorium in Tuscaloosa Park. The remodeled facility's new name is the Riley Arts Center. The report says that conductor Matthew Wardell hoped construction would begin within the next couple of weeks, with an inaugural opening possibly as early as October. The orchestra has received project pledges of $2.16 million from others and has collected almost $1.5 million of those pledges. The City Council agreed to pay the $300,000 on condition that the orchestra gets a construction loan of another $1.5 million, and the auditorium project is completed by January 2nd of 2017. The Ocala Symphony Orchestra has agreed to a 30-year lease of the building, which is owned by the City of Ocala. The Marion County Sheriff's Office is reporting the arrest of a 50-year-old man charged with possession of 20 counts of child pornography. The man is identified as Robert Earl Toole of Silver Springs. According to the report, an undercover internet investigation led detectives to Toole's home at 3433 Northeast 56th Avenue, where deputies arrested him after finding more than 1,000 gigabytes of child pornography. The report states that Toole admitted possessing the child porn that he collected online. Some of the images and videos depicting sexual abuse and voyeurism appear to be homemade, and the report states that Toole admitted to making them. He is being held in the Marion County Jail in lieu of $406,000 bond. The Sheriff's Office is asking anyone with information about Toole or with information about possible victims to call Deputy Dodd at 369-3535 or Crime Stoppers at 368-STOP. The Florida Department of Environmental Protection's Florida Park Service, together with multiple motorcycle clubs in Central Florida, invite individuals who use wheelchairs to the Highlands Hammock Inaugural Wheelchair Derby on Saturday, February 21st in Sebring. Competitive events will be held for all age divisions, including children, teens, adults, and seniors. Organizers hope to raise $8,000 for the purchase of an all-terrain Nomad Power wheelchair. The Nomad will provide visitors who have mobility disabilities independent access to trails in the park. Once the park acquires the Nomad, it will be available to park visitors with disabilities for free use. There is no event registration fee. However, the park is requesting pre-registration. To pre-register, call the park at 863-386-6094. Registration may also be completed on the morning of the Derby, but please notify the park of your intent to participate by February 18th and provide event entry information. And those are the headlines from The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be mostly cloudy today with a few showers crossing the area. Highs anywhere from the mid-60s in the northernmost part of the zone to 74 in the southernmost part. Cloudy tonight with periods of rain and a thunderstorm, lows ranging from 52 in the northernmost part of the zone to 62 along the coast. Tomorrow becoming windy and cooler with rain in the morning, then clouds will break for some sun in the afternoon, highs in the mid to upper 60s. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Right on the southwestern corner of the square sits one of the finest dining establishments in Florida, Mark's Prime Steakhouse and Seafood Restaurant. Mark's offers big city dining amenities in a charming and small town setting. It's a rare treat to experience both the ambiance and the exquisite cuisine in a friendly atmosphere. Ocala's finest restaurant serves the finest beef, the freshest seafood, premium wines, and naturally fresh vegetables. From valet parking to splendid service, Mark's offers the complete package. Check it out today. Mark's Prime Seafood and Steakhouse Restaurant.
Today in Florida Ag News on the Southeast AgNet, we start with our weekly Commissioner Spotlight. And with that, here's Franco Galasso.
I'm talking with Florida's Commissioner of Agriculture, Adam Putnam. The 2015 Florida State Fair is almost ready to open in Tampa. Commissioner, will you be going?
I've been going since I was a kid, Franco. As always, there'll be great food, fun activities, and a celebration of Florida's rich agricultural heritage. The State Fair showcases the state's finest produce, livestock, and poultry, and offers entertaining educational exhibits like Cracker Country, Ag Ventures, and new to the fair this year, a replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall. If you go, you're not going to want to miss the displays and interactive exhibits at the Florida Forests Discovery Center and the Florida Cattle Ranching exhibit. Learn about Florida agriculture, a symbol of the history of this great state, and the opportunities that lie ahead. I encourage everyone to come out, bring your family, and enjoy the Florida State Fair this year, February 5th through the 16th at the Florida State Fairgrounds in Tampa.
Thanks, Commissioner Putnam. For tickets and information, go to floridastatefair.com. For Commissioner Spotlight, I'm Franco Galasso.
Thanks, Franco. USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service is making $100 million available this year through the Conservation Stewardship Program, and although applications are accepted all year,